and welcome to our Call IS events, our TED Talks for 2024. And we're also going to continue in 2025 as well. So our speaker today is Joe Dale. A little bit about Joe, who's an independent language consultant from the UK, who works with a range of organizations such as Network for Languages, ALL, the British Council, the BBC, Skype, Microsoft, and The Guardian. He was host of the TESMFL forum for 6 years, former SSAT languages lead practitioner, a regular conference speaker and recognized expert on technology and language learning. He has spoken at conferences, whether face-to-face, of course, and online, and run training courses in Europe, North America, South America, the Middle East, the Far East, and Australasia. Have you never given talks in Africa?
Not yet, no. I'd like to, but I haven't yet.
Okay, I can arrange that. Okay.
Brilliant.
Yes. All right. So thank you for being with us and for offering this amazing workshop. I just want to let everybody know that you'll be getting certificates at the end, but you need to stay from the beginning to the very end. So stay tuned for that. You'll be getting them later on. So once again, thank you, Joe, and thank you everyone for joining us.
So you're absolutely welcome. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Nelly, and welcome everyone to this this session. So this session is planned to be around an hour and 15 minutes plus Q&A. If you'd like to stay on for the whole time, that would be amazing. It's going to be very practical, very hands-on if you like. If you want to have a play along at home, then you're more than welcome to do so. As you can see, the session is called Adapting New Technologies to Empower Modern Language Teaching, Learning and Assessment. We're going to be focusing on lots and lots of different ideas on the use of artificial intelligence, some ideas using ChatGPT, but lots and lots and lots of other ideas around the use of AI. So I would love you to write comments in the chat. If you have a question, could you put the letter Q in front of your question so it's really clear, the questions that are coming in. If I can answer a question there and then, I will do so. But for the meatier questions, we can do those at the end of the session. My background is, as Nelly was saying, I have worked with lots of organizations, but I am a former languages teacher. So I taught French for 13 years, 3 years at secondary school level, and then 10 years at middle school level, working with 9 to 13-year-olds. So I've got upper primary and secondary school experience. And I've been now an independent languages consultant for about 14 years. And as has been said, I have been all over the world. But most of my training now, as a result of my change in working, really, as a result of the pandemic and Brexit in particular, I tend to do most of my working online now through webinars, online training, etc. So it's really an honor and a privilege to be here. So I'm very grateful to Nelly for the opportunity. So let's make a start. You can see as well my contact details are here. My email address is joedale@talk21.com. My Twitter X handle is here at Joe Dale. I'm on LinkedIn as well if you want to connect with me there. And I've also got a Facebook group, which is called Language Teaching with AI, which has the same background as the one that I'm using right now in Zoom. Okay, so Language Teaching with AI, if you'd like to request to join. I'll give you the exact link for that later on. Okay, so in this webinar, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at a number of different ways in which we can use AI for promoting all 4 skills of listening, reading, speaking, and writing. It may be that there are some tools that you've seen before, which is fine, in which case feel free to put comments in the chat about how you're using different tools that I'll be presenting. But I'm hoping there's going to be 1 or 2 tools that you've never seen before, particularly if you haven't seen me speak before. That would be fantastic. So it's really lovely to see so many people with us today. And let's go into the first tool we're going to have a look at. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is Immersive Reader, which I would imagine probably quite a few of you have heard of. Immersive Reader is a tool which is bundled as part of tools such as Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Class Notebook, Flip, Wakelet, etc. But it's also available in a Chrome extension called Helperbird, which I'm going to be demonstrating live in a second. So you'll see that on each slide, I've got these different bullet points, and those are to show the different affordances of different tools that I'll be showing you live and demonstrating everything live. So it may be that some things go wrong, or it may be that the AI hallucinates, but we'll just go with the flow and we'll see how we get on. So Helper Bird, it is a Chrome extension, and it's really good for promoting accessibility and allowing students to become more independent in their learning, either in school or at home or in whichever institution they're part of. So what I'm going to do now is show you where you can find this particular extension. I've got it open here. So you just go to the App Store. Sorry, you go to the Chrome Web Store, and you can install it. This works equally in Microsoft Edge, in Firefox, and there's also an iOS app, which means that you can install it on an iPad or an iPhone. So all you have to do is just click Add to Chrome. You're adding it. And then what that means is you can then select any text on the web, and you can right-click that text and then click Helper Bird to activate Immersive Reader. This also works in Google Docs as well. There's a Google Docs extension, which I'd recommend that you have a look at as well. And just to let you know, last week I did a webinar, a free webinar with the CEO of Helper Bird, Robert James Gabriel, who was speaking to me live from Arkansas. He's an Irish national who's the CEO of Helper Bird, and you can access that completely for free from this link here on my YouTube channel, which is available at Joe Dale. So it's just youtube.com/@Joe Dale to discover it. And he goes through all the different ways in which you can use Helper Bird, including Immersive Reader. So to show you an example of how we could get this to work, I could type something into ChatGPT. I could obviously do this with another large language model such as Google Gemini or Microsoft Copilot, but I thought I'd show you ChatGPT, and in particular, I'm going to show you this Chrome extension here, which is called Voice Control for ChatGPT, which I've got open here. Again, I've got this installed right now. You just click Add to Chrome to install it, and that allows you to use your voice when putting in your prompts into ChatGPT. So I find it incredibly useful. You can also, in the iOS version of ChatGPT, you can also use what's called voice conversations, which is when you tap on the headphone icon, and that allows you to then have a conversation with ChatGPT, and you can do that in any language you want. And I've even practiced with it whereby I have one person who speaks one language, one person that speaks the other language, another language, and you can get voice conversations in ChatGPT to essentially translate for the other person in the other language, and it works really, really nicely. Okay, so with that in mind, let me click on here and show you how we can use Helper Bird. Write a 70-word text describing the morning routine of Mickey Mouse in A1 level English. Make it very, very funny. Okay, so let's see now what happens. There we are. Whether you think that this is funny or not is obviously a personal thing, but it tends to be that when you're using large language models, the humor tends to be very sort of, if you like, physical comedy or slapstick comedy or very cheesy comedy. And there we are. So as you can see, it says every morning Mickey Mouse wakes up and his ears are messy. He brushes them with a giant toothbrush. Then he eats a big cheese sandwich for breakfast. Mickey dances while he gets dressed, hopping on one foot. He always loses one shoe. Finally, Mickey says, "Oh boy, what a day," and runs out, forgetting his hat, which Goofy chases him with. So you'd have to decide whether you think that's funny or not. But to access Helper Bird, let's imagine a student has created some text, be it on ChatGPT, or if they were finding an article they wanted to access on the web, and they wanted it to be read back to them. What they can do is they can highlight it like this. They can right-click this, and they can go to where it says Helper Bird, if you see. So from there, you can click on when it says View in Immersive Reader. Okay, so this is a completely free extension. It looks like this. And what you can do is you can press the play button, and it will then read back the text to you. It recognizes the language automatically, which is very useful, and it will give you a model of pronunciation. So very good for encouraging independent learning and for practicing pronunciation. Okay, here we go.
Every morning, Mickey Mouse wakes up and his ears are messy. He brushes them with a giant toothbrush.
Okay, so you get the idea. You can then click on the voice options here. You can change from female to male. You can make it slower if you want to, like this.
Toothbrush. Then, he eats a big cheese sandwich for breakfast.
Okay, and if you want to go even slower, you can do that as well, but it does sound a bit odd at that point, like this.
Breakfast. Mickey dances while he gets dressed.
So personally, I would go for either the standard speed or maybe the 0.75 speed. Okay, so from there, what you can do is you can then click on these three options here in turn. If you go to the first one, this is the text preferences option. So here, what you can do is you can change the text size like this. Okay, you can increase the spacing like that. That's particularly good for dyslexic learners because it might be that if the text is too near, if the lines are too near each other, they might find it difficult to access. But by using the increased spacing option, it means that you can make it easier for them to access and for them to read. You can also change the font as well if you want to, like this. You can change the background color like this. So again, for dyslexic learners, they might find it easier for them to access and read the text with a different background color like that. You can also click on this option here, the grammar options, and you can select the different parts of speech. As you can see, you can also select the labels to show which words are nouns, which ones are verbs, which ones are adverbs, etc. And you can even click on the syllables option, which allows you to help you with pronunciation. So, for example, you've got a word like finally, and it's showing you the different syllables for each part of the word. Finally, for example, forgetting. Okay, so all these features, I think, can encourage the students to become more independent and to learn individually and become more autonomous. In addition to that, you've got the reading preferences option. So here you've got what's called line focus. So if I press play now, it will black off everything that's not on one particular line like this.
Dressed, hopping on one foot. He always loses one shoe.
Here we are. So I think that's also very useful because it may be that if a student is seeing the text all in one go, they might find that overwhelming, or it might seem as if the text is sort of swimming on the page, or the letters are individually moving, for example, which can be a feature that students who have dyslexia find. You can also have 3 lines at a time, or if you prefer, no lines at all. You've also got the picture dictionary, which is really useful. So, for example, if I were to click on the word tooth like this, it will come up with, or toothbrush, it will come up with a toothbrush as a picture. Or if I click on the word like hat, then it will show me different hats, which again can help with dual coding and comprehension. It won't do this for every single word. So if I click on a word like then it will only give me, well, ironically, there was a picture for then. Let's try another one. Yeah, there for them, for example, it's just giving me a model of pronunciation like this. Okay. Now you can also translate as well. If I choose another language, for example, I could choose, for example, a language like French, and I could choose the by word option. And therefore here I can click on breakfast, and it's now giving me the French translation like this.
Petit déjeuner.
Okay. And I've got the English original as well.
Breakfast.
Okay, so I can see I've been asked in the chat whether it will translate into Urdu, Sindhi, and Turkish. Let's have a quick look. If I go to Urdu, yeah, so Urdu is one of them, and then we've got Sindhi. No, Sindhi is not there. Turkish, let's have a quick look. Yes, Turkish is there. Okay, so 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf once sang. Okay, now, in addition to that, in the original version of Microsoft Word with Immersive Reader, the online version, you get what's called Reading Coach. So Reading Coach appears here where my cursor is, but it's not there at the moment in Helperbird, but apparently it will be soon. When I had a chat with the CEO, Robert, recently, he told me that he's in discussion at the moment with getting the Reading Coach license. And what Reading Coach allows you to do is you select it, the play button turns into a microphone, and then you can then essentially read back the text which you've selected, which you may have written yourself or got an LLM to produce, or maybe it's on the web. You can then read it back to yourself, and then Reading Coach will give you advice on pronunciation. And yes, this is completely free. What I'm showing you is completely free. Okay, so that is Helperbird. There's lots of other things you can do with Helperbird as well, in which case I would recommend checking out the webinar that I mentioned earlier, which I can very quickly put in the chat for you if you're interested. So I'll just pop that in the chat and then you can have a look at it. Okay, right. So that was Help a Bird. Keep the questions coming. That's great. So that was the first one under listening. And the next one we're going to have a look at is called Turboscribe. And I'd be very interested to know whether people have heard of Turboscribe in the chat, because I don't think there are that many people that are aware of it, but it's a really useful AI tool. And I'm going to show you how it works right now. So Turboscribe allows you to create a transcript from an audio file or a video file, including video from, say, YouTube or from Google Drive, etc. Now, the way that it works is, or the way I'm going to demonstrate right now, is I'm going to take a YouTube clip like this, Little Red Riding Hood, and I'm going to click on the share option. Actually, before I do that, let me just show you another quick thing you can do. You can see here it says more in the description, because you may not be aware of this. If I click on the more option, you can go to where it says show transcript here. Now, if I click on show transcript, I can go to the bottom of that text like this. Oh, I can then select from the bottom up to the top like this, copy that, and then I can go into ChatGPT, go to a new chat like this, and then I could then say, for example, based on this transcript, write 10 multiple choice questions in A1 level English. So I'm using the CFR levels here, which it sort of understands. There we are. Now I've just put the transcript in. It's now giving me the questions. I could have answered an answer key as well. So in other words, you can harness any transcript from a YouTube clip and you can turn it into a comprehension exercise very, very easily and quickly, like I'm doing right now. But the way that Turboscribe works is you can take this link, you can copy it, you can go to Turboscribe, which I've got open here, and per day, you can create 3 transcriptions of up to 30 minutes per transcription per day. So you could transcribe for free 90 minutes of audio or video per day. So the way that it works is, and I'm just logged in with my standard email account here, I click on transcribe files. I can drag and drop a video or an audio file, and it accepts MP3, MP4, etc. as file types. Or I can click browse files and I can find the file I want to upload and do it that way. Or I can click on the link option here and click on that. And I can now paste in the link like this. Okay. And as you can see, this also works with Dropbox, Google Drive, etc. I've only ever tried it with Google Drive in addition to YouTube, and that's worked absolutely fine. So if I now click on import, and what it's going to do is it's going to extract the audio from the YouTube clip and it's going to transcribe that. So that means that even if the YouTube clip doesn't have a transcript, which some don't, it will still be able to transcribe this. So the next thing you need to do, which is very useful, obviously, the next thing you need to do is click on the audio language of the video. So I'm going to choose English UK. Again, you've got a whole range of different languages here. Not necessarily every single one you would want, but you've got a good range. And then there are 3 transcription modes. There's cheetah, dolphin, and whale. I always go for whale because it's the most accurate. And you've also got this option here, which you've got 3 options. You've got the recognize speaker option, which means, let's say it's an interview, you've recorded this in Audacity or on a mobile phone as an audio file, and you want the transcription tool to show who is speaking which part of the dialogue. And you can do that with this recognize speakers option, which the geek in me knows is called speaker diarization. So some AI tools will have what's called speaker diarization, which means they can work out who is saying which line. This is one of the best examples that I know of that can do that. There's also in Word Online, you can click on the little arrow to the right of dictate in Word Online. It will say transcribe. You click on transcribe and you can have up to 300 minutes every month if you have an Office 365 subscription to transcribe audio or video, I think, as well, actually. And that will also automatically put in speaker diarization if you have more than one speaker. You can also transcribe directly to English if you want. And if the audio quality is not the best, if it's been recorded in a noisy environment or maybe in a in an environment like a corridor, for example, with lots of reverb, or a great big room where the sound is sort of bouncing off the walls, then you can use this restore audio function as well. But because this has been well recorded, I'm not going to choose any of these. I'm just going to click on transcribe like that. And then what's going to happen is you can see we've got the whale mode here, and you can see that it's now in the process of transcribing. So it doesn't take long normally, which is great. So in no time at all, we'll have our transcription. So you could, if you're one of these people that likes to record meetings, either face-to-face or online, and then you can take the audio file of that and make a transcription really, really easily. And then you can put that into a large language model. For example, if it's a meeting, and then you could then say, make a detailed summary of this meeting and give myself some action points to work on, for example. So there we are. So there's the transcript. If I click on this right now, as you can see, all the timestamps have been added automatically into the transcription, which is really useful. And I can just press play like this. And it will start to play the audio in a second. Here we go.
Once upon a time, there was a girl called Little Red Riding Hood. She lived...
Okay, and you can jump ahead. So if I click here.
All the better to see you with, replied the wolf.
Here we are. Okay, so now another thing you can do is if it's made a mistake, for example, if you click on Edit Transcript option, then what you can do is you can click anywhere here where it says Edit, and you can see here's the text, and then you could then change any of the words. So instead of Little Red Riding Hood, we could say Big Blue Riding Hood. Okay, obviously that's not correct, but you get the idea. So if it makes any mistake, particularly say on proper nouns or in the grammar or the punctuation, then you can change that accordingly. Okay. I can see that people are talking about whether it works bilingually. Can you sort of clarify what you mean? Do you mean if there's more than one language in the transcript? Is that what you mean? But anyway, I don't think it can do that. I think it has to choose one language. In fact, in transcripts that I've done with this, when I've had two languages in the same transcript, it hasn't recognized the other language. It's just recognized the language which I've chosen. So I've had to choose the edit transcript option and then added that section manually. With Word Online, I may be wrong about this, but I think it does cope with more than one language. So it might be better to have a look at that. And I can see that Nelly is recommending Transcriptor with a K in the chat as well, which I haven't played with yet. Okay. Now, in addition to that, once you've edited the transcript and you're happy with it, you'll notice there's a ChatGPT icon here. You can also download the result. If I just show you this first, actually, if I click on download PDF, for example, then this allows me to download the transcript, in this case without timestamps. But if I go back to here and I choose advanced export, I can export with timestamps by selecting this. And then I can then click, for example, export as PDF or a docx file and click download. Okay, as a result of that, there it is. And I can now see the PDF with the timestamp. So again, very, very useful, I think. Okay. Now, what I'm going to show you now is showing you this ChatGPT option, which is great as well, I think. If I click on this right now, I can make a short summary, a detailed summary, etc., etc. Or I can click here where it says custom prompt, like this. Right. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write something like create 10 multiple choice questions in A1 level English based on this transcript. Include an answer key. Okay. So let's click generate ChatGPT prompt, click copy ChatGPT prompt, and then click open ChatGPT. So it's copied the prompt to my clipboard. And then once ChatGPT has launched, I can then right click, click paste it in. You can see that the dialogue is all there, plus the prompt at the top. Okay. So I now send this in and it's now making me the comprehension questions like this. Okay. which is very nice, I think. Now, another quick thing you can do, if it works, is the following. In ChatGPT, now with the free version, which is 4 Omni, 4.0, I should be able to make a Word document. Let's see if I can do this. Turn this into a worksheet and make it available as a downloadable Microsoft Word document. Right, so now it says analyzing, and then hopefully it will give me a download link. Yeah, I can say that you can't do bilingual text in Turboscribe, but I'm pretty sure you can in Microsoft Word Online. But I may be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I have done that in the past, and it has worked with more than one language to my great satisfaction. So hopefully it's going to make a Microsoft Word document. There we are. So if I click on this right now, there we are. Yes, I agree. Adding the level of the students is important. Obviously, I'm doing this all live and I do forget things from time to time, but I agree with you. It's good to add the level of the students in as well. Let's put this across here. Let's see if this is going to work. Hang on. There we are. Okay, so as you can see, it's now made a downloadable Word document or worksheet based on my text. Okay, which is pretty cool. And you can do that in the free version using ChatGPT 4.0. Okay. Right. So if you wanted me to repeat that, all you can see is once it's generated the multiple choice questions and the answer sheet, I would say turn this into a worksheet and make it available as a downloadable Microsoft Word document. So it's on the screen, Nagla, if you can see. And so as a result of that, it then analyzed the text, and it was then made into a downloadable version, which is fantastic. So there we are. Hopefully that's clear so far, everything that I've shown you. So that was Turboscribe. So we've done a couple of ideas on listening. I can see in the chat, I've been asked whether this is being recorded. It's live streaming to YouTube right now, so I presume that the recording will be available on YouTube. So do check that out. I'm sure that Nelly can clarify in a second as well. Yes, you could ask the questions, or you could ask, the multiple choice questions to be based on Bloom's taxonomy if you wanted to. So just have a play with that, and you can edit the prompt however you see fit. Right, so that was Turboscribe. We're now going to have a look at some ideas around speaking, in particular with Mizu. I don't know if anyone's heard of Mizu. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's fantastic. And I'm going to show you how it works right now. So Mizu, I know I've written here, suitable for users age 13 and older. You can use it with younger students, but you would need to have parental consent if they're younger than, say, 13, I would suggest, simply because most AI tools require you to be 13 or above. It says in the privacy policy on Mizu that you can use it with younger students. And it says as well on the actual website, which I've got open here, that it's got examples of high school, middle school, and elementary school as well. So do have a look at this website, which is mizu.com. Here we are, perfect for middle school, perfect for elementary. Okay. And as I said, look at the privacy policy whenever you look at any sort of website. If I do a quick search for children's privacy policy, click OK. Then there we are, Mizu student privacy policy. So you can have a look at this. I can put this in the chat for you as well. But it says about it will not sell the data. They are not selling student information, etc., etc. So do have a look at that. But it is, according to the privacy policy, FERPA, COPPA, and GDPR compliant, which obviously they must take very, very seriously. Okay, so let's go back to Mizu, the homepage, which I've got open here, and let me log in. So if you haven't seen Mizu before, it's a tool which allows you to make your own educational chatbot. So it's really good for speaking and listening skills. And everything I'm going to show you right now is free. There is a premium tier as well, but I'm going to show you everything that you can do for free right now. So I'll just let this launch. like this. There we are. So the first thing you can do is you can go to the explore option here and you can search through a keyword for a topic that you're interested in. You can choose a grade level here. You can choose a subject here. And I've never clicked on organization before, to be honest with you, but just put a search in here and then you can get an idea of the sorts of chatbots that other teachers from around the world have been creating. Okay. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to show you quickly how to make one live. So I click here where it says build a chatbot. And I normally click on the AI generated option here, like this. And that will then start to build my chatbot. So I need to then put in my learning objective or my prompt. So I need to say the sort of chatbot that I want. So I'm going to say the following. I'm going to say, you are Joe. We'll call it Joe. No, that'll be confusing. You are Bob. There we are. You are Bob, an English waiter in an English cafe. Okay. My students will order food and drink from you. They are, let's say, 13 years old and are working at A1 level English. Answer in short, simple sentences. Be kind and polite. You don't have to say the be kind and polite, but you could if you wanted to, because it will be kind and polite anyway. Right, so that's your prompt. That's a very basic prompt. You can go into a lot more detail if you want to, but I just want to give you a flavor of how this works. So I now choose the grade level. So I'm going to choose grade 9. That'll be sort of 13-year-olds. And I'm going to click now get ideas. And normally what it does now is it normally gives you 1, 2, or 3 different, it's got 3 today, 1, 2, or 3 different chatbots. Okay, so as you can see here, students practice with a C because it's American English, not British English. Ordering food and drink in English with Bob, an English waiter. Bob responds in short, simple sentences, modeling polite and kind communication. Okay, so if I now click on generate, like this. Okay, and now you can see it says ordering food and drink. Because you can't have the same chatbot title, I'm going to just add TESOL Cal IS. I've got my instructions here, so I don't have to redo those. I've got the grade level, and then here you can see you get this picture. If you don't like the picture, I can click on the pencil icon, and I can now put in a different prompt, such as a typical English waiter with a big moustache. Okay, we'll see what it then produces. So this again is using AI to produce an image based on text. Okay. In relation to developing phonemic awareness, I'm not sure this is going to be the best tool for that because the accent is it will speak in like an American accent. You'll see in a minute even when it's speaking foreign languages. There we are. But you could try it out. I would recommend Reading Coach maybe for phonemic awareness, but I don't know of an AI tool which is absolutely brilliant for practicing pronunciation. But this could, I think, be helpful for fluency and for confidence and for practice, independent practice. It works very nice on a mobile phone as well. Right, so there's Bob apparently, and then if I click here, I can choose to generate all fields like this. So I'm now going to get a welcome message. There we are. I've got some rules. Again, you can change that if you want to. The knowledge file option is a premium feature. So that allows you to, for example, upload a PDF with more information about maybe your exam spec, that sort of thing. You've got different voices here. So I've got, I'm going to choose John. And then you get this thumbnail here, which again, you can edit in the way that I've shown you already. And then we choose the subject. So I'm going to choose foreign languages. Okay. From there, I can click publish. And I can choose either private or public. I'm going to choose private. If it's public, it just means that it can appear in the explore option in Mizu. It doesn't mean it's going to be available outside of Mizu. Okay. So if I now click publish like that and confirm, it will now publish my chatbot. Okay, so we'll just wait for that to publish. And as if by magic, it's going to do that. Okay, as you can see, it's now created the chatbot. And then what you do is you click on the share option. You can see that you can have up to 50 sessions per day, by the way. So you could run this for, say, a couple of classes, no problem at all. So if I click on the share option right now, I can share my chatbot with another colleague or with my students. So I click on the students option and click create. There we are. And now we get these further personalizations that we can make, which I've already shown you. And then the tools one, you've got all the options I've shown you already, apart from the timer option, which is a premium feature, and the rubrics option, which is also a premium feature. So I'm now going to click on the launch option, and that will now launch my chatbot. So we'll just wait for it to appear as if by magic. And here we are. And it's now going to appear on the screen. So from there, I'm going to get a URL and a QR code, which I'll be able to share with my students. So the only thing I need to share with them is a link. They don't need to sign in. It works in any language. Well, it works in lots of languages. Just have a play with it. I've shown examples many times of this using French. So just try it out in different languages. And it should, for most languages, I would imagine it will work. So if I now copy my link like that, I'm now going to go to a new browser. So I'm going to click here in Microsoft Edge, and I'm going to paste in the link. The reason I'm going to a new browser is otherwise I'm going to be logged in with my teacher account, which is not what I want. So as you can see here, we've got this nice image, which is showing a nice bit of diversity there, which is great. And then here, I can put in my name as the student, okay? So if I click here, start session, this is what the student would see. And we'll just wait for it to open the session. Okay, right. So here we are. Now we can listen back to Bob's welcoming message like this.
Welcome to Bob's Cafe. I'm Bob, your friendly waiter. What would you like to order today?
Okay, and then what you do is you click on the microphone. The first time you do this, you have to give permission to Chrome to access your microphone. Once you've done that, you can then dictate what it is that you would like to say. Okay. Can you not see my screen? Can I just, okay, right. Okay. So that's, okay, no problem. So I will click on stop share, and then I will click share again. I thought I was sharing my whole screen, which is not a problem. So I will just do.
You were actually, Joe, and everything was fine on my end. It could have been.
Edge. Was I showing Edge?
I didn't see Edge.
Right. So this is, you can see Edge now, yeah? I think. Can you let me know?
I'm a Mac user. So, I don't know if that's Edge.
Can you see where it says ordering food and drink, TESOL, Calice at the top? No?
Yes, of course.
You are. Okay. So you can see it. Okay. Right. Okay. But so could you see this previously?
Yes, we saw everything.
So I think it's all working fine then. Okay. No problem. So as I was saying, that's fine. As long as it's working, it's fine. So as I was saying, you can click the microphone option, and that allows me to then dictate an answer such as this. I would like a coffee and a cheese sandwich, please. So I can now listen back to my audio by pressing play. I would like a coffee and a cheese sandwich, please. Okay, and I can now click on the tick. That will transcribe my audio like this, and you can see it's very, very accurate. And then I can click the send option, and that will now send that to Bob. Okay, so let's see what Bob says.
Sure thing, Joe. 1 coffee and a cheese sandwich coming right up for you. Enjoy.
Okay, so I'm now going to clarify what coffee I would like this. Can I have a white coffee, please? And with my cheese sandwich, could I have salad because it's good for my health? Okay, let's see what Bob says. Come on, Bob, you can do it. Here we go.
Of course, Joe. I'll get you a white coffee and a cheese sandwich with salad. Healthy choice. Your order will be ready soon.
Okay, right. I'm very thirsty, so could I have a very large coffee, please? Thank you. Okay. Let's send that in. Here we go.
Absolutely, Joe. I'll get you a very large coffee right away. Your order will be ready shortly. Enjoy your drink.
Okay, so now I'm going to be a bit silly and see how Bob responds. That's fantastic, Bob. Thank you so much. The problem, though, is I don't have any money. I hope that's not a problem. Okay, let's see how Bob's going to reply. So I send in my answer and we'll see if he reacts in an authentic way. Here we go. Oh, no problem, Joe, apparently.
No problem, Joe. I'll cover the cost this time. Enjoy your coffee and sandwich. Just let me know if you need anything else.
Okay. That's very kind of you, Bob. I can do the washing up if you would like. Okay, so you can see that you can play around with this and it doesn't matter, it's fine. Let's see how Bob responds to that. He seems a very nice man, doesn't he, Bob? Okay.
Thank you for offering, Joe, but it's not necessary. Just enjoy your meal and have a great day.
Okay, so you can see that you can sort of play around a little bit with the chatbot, with Bob in this case, and because of the guardrails that have been put in the background from the people from Mizu, it means that the chatbot knows, in inverted commas, that it's a chatbot, that it's not a real situation, and essentially it's playing the role of a teacher, whereby they're just the student is just practicing, in this case, dialogues in a cafe. Okay. If I were to make a mistake, I could ask Bob to give me feedback about my mistake. That would be fine. It won't give me feedback on the pronunciation because it's transcribing the pronunciation, but it could give me feedback on my text. So, for example, and also it's because it's a sympathetic listener. If I made a mistake in what I'm saying, it will probably still understand. For example, if I were to say, I'm really, really sorry, Bob. Can you excuse moi because I really want to poi? Okay, let's see how the transcription is for that. Can you see? So it's not understood it quite in the transcription. So let's see what Bob says to my not perfect English. I've never done that before. Okay, I think he's misunderstood. So I meant I really want to payo. Let's try again. So it's misunderstood, but it's made sense in its own head, as it were. Let's see how it responds now. Okay, so it's now understanding. Okay, so now I could say, for example, does this make sense? Yeah, I could now say, could you give me some feedback about my English, Bob, as if you were an English teacher? Okay, let's see what the feedback's going to be. Okay, there we are. Can you see?
Your English is clear and easy to understand, Joe. Keep practicing, and you'll continue to improve.
Okay.
Great job.
Can you give me feedback about the individual mistakes that I made in my answers? So I'm not letting Bob off the hook. I want him to give more detailed feedback. Let's see if Bob can do it. Yeah. Can you see? Look at that. So it's given me good feedback on the answer. So hopefully that's clear on how good it is at giving feedback about mistakes that it can make, that you can make, that it can then reply to. So having finished the session, you click End Session. You can give an image an emoji for your experience. I normally just click Skip. And there we are. So that's the student point of view. And now if I come out of this and then if I stop sharing and go back to sharing my, again, my Google Chrome screen, then that's all good. Right. So what I can now do is I can now refresh the page, and it should give me, there we are. Can you see? It's now giving me some feedback. I can see that Lindy has joined the session as well. You're very welcome, Lindy. And I've only got a B, not an A, which is very disappointing. Let's see what's happening now. So as the teacher, I can see everything that's been said in the transcript, and I can also listen to the audio of what my student was saying, like this. I would like a coffee and a cheese sandwich, please. Okay. Now you can see here that based on the transcript, the AI in Mizu has then created some feedback. So you can see that it's saying the student engaged well with the chatbot, maintaining a polite and respectful tone throughout the conversation. They followed the instructions and actively participated in the dialogue. However, there were minor issues with language use, such as the mix-up between pui and pay, which slightly affected the clarity of communication. Overall, the student demonstrated good conversational skills and etiquette. Perfect. So I think that's really, really useful. I can see I have a question in the chat. Can we use text in this? Yes, you can. You don't have to use your voice. You can just write your answer instead if that's what you mean. Okay. Right. So that was Mizu, and that's wonderful, I think, for speaking. So let's carry on, and let's go back to slideshow mode. Okay. And we'll go on to the next tool. Right. The next tool is voice control for ChatGPT, which I've sort of given a flavor of already. But let me give you another idea of this. If I go back to ChatGPT, which I've got here, and I go to a new chat, and then I'm going to right click here, and there we are. Can you see I've got a prompt called ridiculous conversation? Now, you may not have seen this before. This is called canned replies, and this is a Chrome extension, which I'm going to show you right now. I find this really, really useful for collecting my favorite prompts all in the same place. So I'll just show you how it works. You install a Chrome extension called Canned Replies. You just add it to Chrome. Having added it, or it will work with Microsoft Edge as well. If you click on the jigsaw piece and go down to where it says Canned Replies, which is here, you make sure that this is pinned to your extensions bar along here. And then what you do is you click on the Canned Replies extension. You can see I've got 3 of these here. You click on the plus icon, and then this is where you write the title of a prompt that you liked using. And this is where you put in your body text here, and you click add. You can then carry on adding as many prompts as you want to, up to about 12 prompts in a list. And you click save changes, having added each prompt. You then click on the export option like this. And you can then save it, for example, to your desktop, wherever you want to save it. You can rename it to something else. So you can export as many prompts lists as you want. And then when you're ready to import a prompts list, you just click on the import option, choose the list, and then import it into the interface. So this is useful for having some of your favorite prompts at your fingertips, if you like. So to give you an idea of how I could use this, I'm going to right click here, click Canned Replies, and click Ridiculous Conversation. Now this is going to be similar to what we did a moment ago with Bob. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this in, and what it's going to do is the waiter is going to give me a sensible answer and a ridiculous answer. So that's why I've called it Ridiculous Conversation. So here I can click on the drop down menu, and I can choose from different languages like this. And I can also click on the loudspeaker icon, which means it should answer me back as well. Let's see if this works. So let's just try it. So here we go. Hello, I would like a coffee and a cheese sandwich, please.
Hello, would you like your coffee black or with milk? And would you like your cheese sandwich toasted? Or sure, would you like to dance while we prepare your order?
Okay, so obviously the silly answer is, sure, would you like to dance while we prepare your order? Okay, so I'm going to then carry on. I don't want to dance. I just want a coffee and a cheese sandwich. I would like to have a coffee with milk. And with my cheese sandwich, I would like to have some salad because that's more healthy.
Of course, your coffee with milk and cheese sandwich with a side salad will be ready in a few minutes. Would you like any dressing for your salad? Or, great choice. Would you like to take a nap while we prepare your order? We have comfy sofas.
I'm not tired, thank you. That's why I want a coffee. So no nap, just the coffee, please, and a cheese sandwich with salad. So you get the idea.
Understood. Your coffee with milk and cheese sandwich with salad will be ready shortly. Would you like anything else with your order? Or, all right, would you like us to sing you a song while you wait for your order?
Okay, so you get the idea. The idea is that you can change around the normal type of functional language you get in a dialogue by producing a silly answer each time. And as a result of that, you can have a lot more fun, I think, with this sort of exchange. You can see here as well that there's the read aloud option as well. That's also a new feature in ChatGPT. If I click here,
Understood. Your coffee with
it will
milk and
read it back
cheese
to us as
sandwich
well.
with salad will be ready shortly. Would you
So that's another idea that you can use in order to get a model pronunciation back from using the text in ChatGPT. Okay, right. So that was voice control for ChatGPT. The next tool we're going to have a look at is called AudioPen, which I've got open here. And this one is one of the only tools that I'm aware of that will work without even being logged in. Okay, so what you can do here is you can click on the settings option like this, and you can choose the input language. So I could choose, for example, English, and then I can choose the output language, and I could also choose English, but I could also choose another language, such as Urdu, etc., etc. Okay. For now, I'm going to choose English, UK, and let's see how this works. Okay, so now I'm not logged in. I'm going to use the microphone and show you how this works. Here we go. So AudioPen is a free tool which uses a number of different AI tools for it to work, and essentially allows you to record your unstructured thoughts. Those are then uploaded as a audio file to the servers, and the audio is then transcribed using what I presume is Whisper, which is a free AI tool which allows you to transcribe audio. In fact, it's probably not free. Probably the developer would have to pay for it, but for the user, it will be free in this context. And then having made the transcription, a bit like with Mizu, ChatGPT running in the background will then summarize the transcript. So in other words, you can use this as a way of quickly getting your ideas down digitally, having a nice summary, and you can also get the transcript in the original language as well. So from that point of view, let's imagine you've had a meeting with a teacher, with a colleague. You can make a quick summary of your meeting. If you had a meeting with a student, you can make a quick summary of that. Likewise with a parent. If you're planning a trip, maybe you can make lots of little notes, and then you can then copy and paste the results and put that into, say, Google Doc, etc., all completely for free. There is a Prime version as well, which allows you to record for up to 15 minutes per note, and also make what are called super notes, which allows you to essentially make a summary based on, let's say, 5 notes that you've recorded in AudioPen. But let me give you a flavor of how this works right now. Right, so just click stop. It's now going to upload the audio. It's then going to transcribe the audio, and it's going to make a summary based on the transcription. So you could, for example, be speaking in English, but summarizing in Urdu, for example, or whichever language is in the list that you've chosen. But likewise, students potentially could use this if they're 13 or above and have parental consent as a way of practicing their pronunciation and getting a summary of what they've said, and they could compare the summary with the original transcript, for example. There we are. Can you see? So it's now made a nice summary of what I said, and I can copy this, paste that into a Google Doc, for example, or a Word document. I can save it, in which case I'd have to log in. Or I can delete it, or I can click View Original Transcript, which is now giving me the transcript of everything that I said, but with all the ums and ahs removed. You can see, for example, with Mizu, it's made a mistake, which is fair enough because it's a proper noun, but everything else has been has been transcribed very, very accurately. So that's AudioPen, and I love it. I think it's amazing. Okay, so far we've done listening and speaking. The next tool we're going to have a look at is Diffit, which is probably one that you do know. And I'm just going to show you live. So this is now moving on to reading. So with Diffit, you do have to be logged in for Diffit. You've got 3 different options. You've got literally anything, which allows you to come up with a topic. here, you can put in an article or a video. So you could put in a YouTube link or a web article, paste it in there. Or here, you can copy and paste your own text in here, or text you produce in another large language model, or you could upload a PDF if you wanted to as well. So for here, I'm just going to click on literally anything, and I'm going to put in a topic such as fast fashion. And I'm going to choose a grade level. I found in general that if you go for, say, one of the lower grades, second grade, third grade, the level of language might be too hard for them. But it works really, really well with higher grades, I find. So I would suggest that for, say, exam level students, so when they say 15, 16 or older, this is great for producing different types of text. So I'm going to go for ninth grade. And again, you've got these different languages you can choose, a whole range of different languages. I'm going to just stick with English for now, and I'm going to click Generate Resources. So based on what it's going to do right now, it's going to base the text on the topic of fast fashion, which is what I've asked for. So literally just from 2 words, it's going to create a whole different set of different activities completely for free. So you'll see in a minute, we get an image coming up. We can choose any of these images here. You've got this adapted reading passage. You've got a summary. You've got key vocab words, multiple choice questions, short answer questions, open-ended prompts. Okay. Now you can only have 3 multiple choice questions or 3 short answer questions. But what you can do is you can take this text and you can copy it and put it into ChatGPT, etc. So I'll show you how to do that in a second. If I click on Show Sources, it's showing me the 6 different sources it's used to generate this text. So if I'd chosen a different language like Spanish or French, etc., probably these sources would be in English, but it would translate the text into the language that you've chosen. Okay. If I click Hide Sources and click Copy, I can go to ChatGPT again, and I could put in a prompt such as the following. Based on the following text, create a table with 2 columns. In the first column, write 15 keywords from the text, and in the second column, write a sentence with the keyword in context. You could obviously translate if you want to do in the second column, but let's do it this way so that the student can then understand what the words mean in context. There we are. Can you see? So now we've got okay, so a few mistakes here, as in it said environment and it said environmental, but you get the idea. So you could do the
keyword sentence in context.
There we are. So you can then have it, let's just turn off the reading aloud. You can then have this, it's a way of creating your own glossary based on the text, etc. Okay. And I could have asked for the words to be appearing in bold, etc., but you get the idea. Okay. Right. Let's go back to Diffit. So all of that you can do for free, but you've also got these premium features here, which is the following. If I click on See All Export Options, I've got these different options here. And if I choose, for example, reading with discussion questions, I can click on this and I can make a Google Slides presentation or a PowerPoint if I prefer. So if I click on Export, it's now going to generate some activities for me based on the template I've chosen, which in this case is reading discussion questions. You'll see that the rubric, there we are, I can download this as a PowerPoint if I want to, or open it up in Google Slides. You can see that the rubric, sorry, the first slide is teacher instruction page, but you'll see that the language of the rubric is in English, and that would be the case even if I'd chosen a different language, but the content will be in English. Sorry, the content will be in the language I've chosen, but because I've chosen English here, then the content will be in English, but the rubric will be in English full stop. So this will all be in English anyway, but if I go to the next one, this will all be in English, even if I've chosen another language like Spanish, for example. Okay, so if I now go through, there we are. So all of this is now in English, as you can see. and that's how it works. So that's Diffit for you. I know some of you are using this in the chat, which is fine. The next tool I'm going to show you is Padlet I Can't Draw, which is one of these nice text-to-image tools. So I just either click on here or I double-click on the screen like this. I'm going to write my name like this, and then click on the +12 option, and I'm going to click where it says I can't draw. Okay. Now under I can't draw, I'm going to write the following. I'm going to say a birthday scene for a 9-year-old and his family in a restaurant. Okay. So let's see what Padlet then produces, and you'll see in a second it's going to produce probably 4 images based on that prompt. Yes, it is. Can you see? And you can now choose the picture that you like the best. So I'm going to choose. I think they look a bit younger than 9, to be honest with you. So I think I'm going to choose this one, which is probably the nearest to 9, the boy on the left-hand side. Let's imagine he's 9. So then we click publish. Now from here, what we can do is to get a screenshot of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use what's called Snip and Sketch, which I've got available here. So I'm going to click on Snip and Sketch, click the new option. I'm now going to drag over the whole picture like this. There we are. And I'm going to click save and save it to my desktop. Now, the reason I don't just right-click the picture is because if I click Save Image As, it comes up as a WEBP file, which is not very compatible with lots of tools. So that's why I'm just doing it that way. Okay. So because for some reason I'm not sharing my whole, I am sharing this screen right now. So you can see this screen, I think. But when I save something, you're not seeing everything that's on my screen because I'm not sharing the entire screen. So you just have to, I'm sure you can bear with me with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you this tool called Image Accessibility Creator from Arizona State University, which is amazing, which works in the following way. If I click on Browse Files and I go to where it says Desktop, and I choose the picture that I've just created and click Open, what it's going to do when I click on Create Image Details is it's going to now create, can you see it's created a written description of what's happening in this picture, which is amazing. So I presume everyone can see this Image Accessibility Creator screen at the moment. Can you just let me know in the chat? So I'm going to now copy this text right now. Click Copy, go to ChatGPT, go to a new chat, and then I'm going to say, for example, based on this description, create a activity for writing a short story of 3 paragraphs about this birthday scene aimed at a class of 9-year-olds learning English who are working at A1 level. Okay, so based on the description that you can get from the image, I'm now going to put that into ChatGPT, and it's going to now give me an activity, as you can see. Okay, so there we are. For some reason, it's giving me this block code, but that's all fine. And it's just made an activity based on that. So that's fantastic. And obviously, you could then edit that according to how you would like it to work. Now, you may not know, but in ChatGPT 4.0, it will actually be able, it can actually recognize images as well now. But I think that the accessibility
Hash activity,
in
writing a short story about a birth.
in the tool I've just shown you works even better. But let me just show you how this works. If I put, for example, describe what is happening in this image, I can then click on the attach tool, upload from computer, select the screenshot, click open, and then share it now. So describe what's happening in this image. And there we are. Yeah, so everything I'm showing you, you can do for free. ChatGPT 4.0 is free, right? Can you see? So it's made this description.
The image depicts a group of people seated around.
It's not as accurate as this one, I don't think. So I would really recommend having a look at this, but you can do that with straight ChatGPT as well. Okay, this is the image accessibility creator, which I've just shown you. And then there's another tool called Magic. There's another feature, sorry, in Padlet called Magic Padlet, which I want to show you live as well. So here, what you do is you go to Padlet. This is my dashboard. And you go to the settings like this, go to settings. Okay, and you go to where it says basic information, and under account type, you choose teacher. So if you click on the little pencil tool, you make sure you're choosing teacher, and then the feature I'm about to show you will then work. So what you do is you click on the make option like this, and under create with AI, you choose custom board. Okay, and then from here, it says, I'm a teacher, so I want to create 5 columns, including images for conversation practice around places in town, such as in a cafe or at a train station, include 5 questions per example, and include 20 examples. Okay, and then you click create. So this is the prompt which I put in. It's now going to hopefully create an example Padlet based on that, and it normally takes about a minute, so we'll just wait for it to finish creating, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it will do a good job. It normally does. It may be that you have to do a little bit of editing, but when I've done this previously, it normally does a good job as a starting point. And so in no time at all, we should get the Padlet appearing. And so you can say things like columns because it will understand that format, the wall format, which will then allow us to have columns. So let's see if this is going to work. There we are. Can you see? So it's created all these different posts with different images in, and you could then get the students to practice answering those questions. And you could also click on the cog there, go down to where it says comments. You could turn on comments, and that means now you can now add comments underneath each post for the students to then answer. So that is Magic Padlet within Padlet, which is, I think, a great way of saving time and creating this sort of activity. Okay, right. Blockade Labs is another tool which I want to show you. So this is here, and this is Blockade Labs. So if I just go back and go to here, so it's blockadelabs.com. You click try Skybox AI like this. You then click here, it says Skybox AI, and it's now going to come up. Okay, so I'm now going to put in an example prompt, and it will now make a 360 photo for us. So I'm going to write, for example, it is a sunny day on the Isle of Wight, which is where I live, if you don't know, in the UK. Sunny day on the Isle of Wight. There are cottages, trees, and fields. Okay. There are mountains in the background. There aren't mountains on the Isle of Wight, but let's just imagine from my picture there is. Okay. And then from here, you choose Model 2, and you select a style. I'm going to choose illustrative, and I'm going to choose storybook. In the free version, you can only create 5 images per month. and you can't download them, but you can embed them. So I'm going to show you how this works in a second. It's now creating my 360 photo. And in no time at all, I'll be able to show you how this works. Okay, so it's just loading up now. Doesn't take long normally. And then you've got your 360 photos. So the idea of this is it will then lend itself to speaking and listening skills, as well as reading and writing. So there's my 360 photo with the mountains in the background. I can then click on the download option. Because I'm logged in, I've got these different options here, but in the free version, you click copy embed code. And then from there, you can go to, for example, a tool like Book Creator, app.bookcreator.com. And I'm going to click on new book, choose the landscape option, click on the plus icon like this and more. And I can click embed and just embed the embed code in there like that. And then I can just edit the title, click add, and there it is. So this is how you can embed Blockade Labs, for example, into Book Creator. You can click the plus icon, you can click text, you can choose the language like that. So I've got English there. I can then, for example, on the Isle of Wight, there are cottages, trees, and fields. There are also mountains. It's a sunny day. Okay, so I'd obviously have to change the punctuation, but you get the idea. You can use your voice very quickly to dictate, or you could write it in. And you can also click on the record option like this. And away we go. So on the Isle of Wight, there are cottages, trees, and fields. There are also mountains. It's a sunny day. He's recording, and there we are. We've now got the audio in there as well. So that's another thing that you can do in relation to practicing speaking and writing around a 360 photo produced using AI. Right, the next thing I'm going to show you is called Emoji Translations. This is quite fun. So if I go to a new chat, right-click, canned replies, Emoji Translations, send it in. I could now say, for example, the following. Last weekend, I went to the cinema with my dog. Okay, and it's now going to produce a set of emojis. So I could then copy that like that. And I could go to another tool, such as Wheel of Names, like this. There we are. Here's an example of ones I did earlier. And I could just now paste it in, etc. So I could add many, many emoji sentences in. And then from there, students could then produce a written or a spoken answer for these emojis. Okay, that's another quick idea. I know I'm sort of running out of time a little bit now, but just to finish off with, I'm going to show you. Let's have a look. Okay, I've got a few more. I just want to show you a few more, if that's okay. So Little Red Riding Hood, I'm going to show you Quizizz AI, which is here. So Quizizz AI, fantastic Chrome extension. And so you just install it. You then click on the Quizizz icon here, like this. I choose Customize Quiz, and it will now create a multiple choice quiz based on the it's asking me to log in. Yeah, I might have to do this. I might have to do this again. Let's quickly just log in. There we are. Let me just, now that I'm logged in, I'll go back to here and I'll just do that again. Otherwise, I know through experience it won't work. So if I now, there we are. So I can choose the grade level, I can choose the number of questions, but because I'm running out of time a little bit, I'm just going to do it live in front of your very eyes. So there we are, clicked on this. It's now doing it for me. It's harnessing the transcript, and it will now generate the multiple choice set of questions based on the transcript, a little bit like what I've done already, but just using it live with Quizizz AI. There we are. So I've got the video clip there. I've got the questions, and there we are. Now you can do something similar with Question Well. So if I click on try it out with Question Well, and let's go for fast fashion again. English, 8th grade, generate questions. It's now going to generate a text based on the topic of fast fashion. It's going to create 10 multiple choice questions. and then it makes different spreadsheets available for the different popular formative assessment tools such as Quizizz, Kahoot, Socrative, Blockade, Gimkit, etc. And it will then do that for us. It's just doing that live right now. I can see that we've asked the question, can we ask it to create a video? You can't ask it to create a video with Quizizz AI. There are tools out there which allow you to generate videos, but we're not covering that today. So I click on select all, as you can see, and click export. And then you click, say, for example, on Quizizz and click save. And then in Quizizz, I can go to Little Red Riding Hood. I can go back to here and click on create, quiz, import worksheets and questions, spreadsheet, upload from device. And there we are, choose the Excel spreadsheet. Now, as a result of that, it's now going to, there we are. You see it says looks good. It's made the activity. And then from there, I can click continue. And there we are. It's now made the activity based on the content from Questionwell and from Quizizz. So last one, I'm going to show you Brisk, which is here. So from Brisk, you can have a Google Doc, for example. You could go back to here. I could go back to, there we are, Mickey's little text. So copy that, go back to Google Doc, wait for it to launch. Paste this in like that. There we are. And then I click here where it says Brisk Teaching. So Brisk Teaching, again, it's a Chrome extension. I click on the create option, choose quiz, and choose the language. I'm going to choose British English. Create 5 multiple choice questions based on this text. There we are. And I click next and Brisket. And now what it's going to do is it's going to create a self-marking Google quiz as if by magic. So it's going to give me the title. It's going to do everything for me like this. There's a lot more you can do with Brisk, but I just wanted to show you this, which I think is great. So there we are. I've got the title. We've got the questions. I click on the first one. You can see that it's told me which is the correct answer, and it's done it all for me, and it's assigned an answer, a point for the answer as well. So it's done it all for me. So I just click send, click the link, and I can shorten that if I want to, copy it, share it with my students, and there we go. Okay, so that was Brisk. So there we are. So to conclude, Quizizz AI, Questionwell, and Brisk. To conclude, I've shown you different ways in which you can use AI and other edtech tools to save time, to promote all 4 skills for students and for teachers. And I just wanted to give a couple of mentions of other things that I'm involved in as well. This is the Facebook group I mentioned, got over 4,000 members. It's called Language Teaching with AI. Got the link there. This is a 4-part webinar series, which if you're interested, you can access that. Nearly 300 teachers from around the world have done it. 6 hours of recordings on ChatGPT, as well as other AI tools. Very reasonable price as well. There's also one I did on AI tools for student speaking practice. Have a look at that as well. That's 90 minutes long, including Mizu and other tools. And recently I did a 2-part webinar series with Naomi Rodriguez from the States. We've now turned that into an asynchronous course, which if you use the code SUMMER, SUMMER, you get $10 off. So it's only $89 for 29 lessons. So, and there we are. And that's the presentation. So if you'd like to scan that QR code or go to that short URL, you're more than welcome to. And we've now got 10 minutes, if you'd like, for questions. Over to you, Nelly.
All right. Wow. Okay. That was absolutely amazing. What did you guys think? If you could just add your favorite or the tool that you can't wait to try out in the chat. Let's see if they remember the tools, because there were so many of them. There was a question that you didn't answer.
Okay.
Or you, I don't know, you answered, but you didn't answer it correctly. And by the way, I didn't recommend Transcriptor. I said that the one that you showed was a lot better.
Oh, sorry, I
You
missed.
miss,
Okay.
yeah, you. I just added the link in case anyone was interested in comparing the two, but I think yours was a lot better. So I think there was a question there about audio, if I'm not mistaken, if you can remove the text and just have the audio for practice. And that
In relation
was,
to Turboscribe, is it?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the one.
Yeah, so with Turboscribe, you can download the audio as a separate file from a YouTube clip. I presume that would means that's going to be breaching YouTube's terms and conditions, but it is possible to do that. That is an available feature at the moment with Turboscribe.
All right, so we've got two favorites there from Plamen, Helper Bird, and Mizu. Okay, great. Any questions? And feel free to ask. I mean, we're all learning. There's always something out there that's new for all of us, including Joe, and which is what Joe does. He finds new things and he provides these webinars and tutorials and so on so that you can try them out. But we're all learners, so feel free to ask a simple question. So I see, yeah,
Julia is asking about AudioPen. So I suggested in the chat, it could obviously be used as a teacher, but you could also potentially use it with students in the sense that they could record a presentation, if you like, or a short text, up to 3 minutes of audio time. And then that will give them a summary of what they produced. And it also will give them the original transcript. And then they can compare the two, or they could be speaking in one language and then they could be making a summary in a different language. So if they're an EAL student, for example, then and maybe their English is not brilliant, then it means they could speak in their own language and it could then make a summary in English, for example. But if you're looking at, let's say, pronunciation, they could record in English and output it in English as a transcript as well as a summary. And if AudioPen hasn't understood what it is that they've said, maybe that indicates that they need to work on pronunciation of certain words, for example. That's what I would suggest. But we actually had a discussion about this in my Facebook group in the last couple of days. And I went into Perplexity, which, if you don't know, Perplexity AI is like a search engine which finds different sources for its answers, normally 6 sources, and then it uses the AI to make a summary. So I just asked the question: how could you use AudioPen for practicing pronunciation for students in class in a languages context? And it gave me 10 different answers. And then I copy and pasted that into my Facebook group, saying this is what Perplexity came up with. So do have a look at Perplexity AI, which is amazing.
I just want to say too that now Apple it has come up, but it's not available to everyone, with Apple Intelligence, which is, for those that are using Apple devices, is going to be amazing because you'll be able to do, students will be able to do a lot. So maybe that's one way that Apple will get more users for now.
Well, there's definitely an arms race in relation to AI and the latest innovations, I think. So I think Apple have maybe come to the party a little bit late, but they've then collaborated with OpenAI, and that's why they're going to have ChatGPT working across their different devices. But they've said they're going to be having a big focus on privacy. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they develop that for sure.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions? I think there was something there. Oh, we may have missed it. I think again from Donna, who asked or is just commenting there, but I think it's a great comment. I wonder how students will learn to use AI to answer and to avoid learning the language. Not just learning the language, but in general, not really learning much, but just using AI in clever ways, which maybe is not such a bad thing. What do you think, Joe?
So I think that this is one of the big questions that we have right now across the whole world. And I think that there's always going to be some students who are going to be looking for shortcuts. Then that's always been the case since the beginning of learning, beginning of school. That's always been the case. But I think that for students who are going to use it intelligently, or as a vehicle for critical thinking, I think it's going to be amazing. I think it already is amazing, actually. And I think that it's going to help students get ideas as a brainstorming tool, as a way of structuring their ideas. Maybe they've written or they're going to write a text and they want a bit of some ideas on scaffolding, or asking the AI to create a model for them, or a scaffold for them to help them write a particular text, let's say. Or maybe they've written something and then they're asking it for feedback for them to improve their language, a bit like as I demonstrated with Mizu when I was using making deliberate mistakes. I think that's a possibility. But this is not going away now. It's becoming more and more embedded and baked into lots of tools. I think as educators, what we need to do is we need to raise awareness amongst students on good practice. And if they are going to use AI, for them to be transparent about that. And if they're not transparent about it, maybe put the text they produce, which they're swearing blind that they have written it independently, not used through the use of AI, put that into, say, Brisk, and create a multiple choice quiz based on that text. And if they can't get 6 or 7 out of 10, then maybe it's not completely their own work. But this is not a new issue. I mean, we've had Google Translate for years and years and years. And so, this is not new for language teachers, but I think it's more of a challenge now. But I think we need to be transparent with students, and also respect the age restrictions of all tools as well. And it's down to the teacher's responsibility to check out the terms of service and the privacy policy of each tool they want to use with students, and adhere to the AI policy of the institution that you're working in as well.
I think that's a great idea, Joe, of using whatever they've produced instead of just telling them that it's, you cheated or whatever, just taking it and using it as a lesson for everyone. So turning it into question and answers. That's a great idea. There was also another question about reading comprehension. Are you aware of that is free feedback tool that would do that? Students would be reading and they would get feedback on how they answered questions or on their reading.
So, I mean, obviously you could use a large language model for that, I would imagine. But the one that comes to mind in relation to feedback and reading is, I mean, there's one called Class Companion, which I haven't used personally, but that is designed to be used by students for feedback. There's also Brisk, but with Brisk, it's aimed at teachers, not at students. And therefore, you could, as a teacher, you could get feedback from the work that they've done, and then you could then put that into their, add it into, say, a Google Doc, et cetera, as feedback. But I know that Class Companion, which is a US tool, does give feedback for written work. So I think that if you're, I mean, just to clarify, are you talking about if the student...
Reading. I'm talking about reading. I mean, I know that there was something like that when I was in high school. It was experimental. It was many years ago. But if it was then I presume there must be an AI tool out there that provides feedback or, one-on-one communication with students on their reading comprehension.
Right. I suppose a tool like Mizu, if you're transcribing the audio that the students are producing, that's then creating an answer as text, as it were. And then based on that, the AI can give feedback on the quality of the answer. Yeah, I mean,
that's writing. Again, that's, that's focusing on reading and writing. We're talking about just,
let's go into Perplexity.
What I'm thinking of speed reading. When I did a course in high school in speed reading, it also tested us, and we were given feedback by a machine. I mean, it was really strange, but it did exist in those days. So I presume there must be something now. I don't know if it's free. I use Feedback Fruits, but it's not free for any kind of feedback on any kind of skill. But I'm going to be looking for it because I think it's a great question.
Okay, let's just see what. So for those people that haven't seen Perplexity before, it's now giving me some different answers. Yeah, so it's got 6 different suggestions, and it's got the sources here, so I can see got the answers from. So I can click on all of these, and then I can have a look back and work out whether I think that the information it's provided is good or not. But lots of these are like text-to-speech tools, like TTS MP3 or TTS Maker, those sorts of tools, which are generating an audio version of text I put in, which is not really practicing reading as such, is it? So I don't know, to be honest. There we are.
Okay, something to look for, and maybe ask developers to do something for us, because this would be great. I think that was a great question, whoever asked it. I hope they're still here. So thank you.
Have a look at Class Companion. That looks very good for feedback about writing as opposed to reading.
Yeah, for writing, I think there's quite a bit, because I think it's a lot easier. For reading, it might be more complex for developers, not for us. Any other questions or comments? Do you see anything there? I think that if not, I think we passed the time.
Can you just clarify about the recording for the session, Nelly?
Yeah, well, it's recorded on YouTube, which means it's live streaming, which means that I don't have the link. Oh, I should have the link at the very top. I did add it to this chat. Here, I'll share it again. This is the link to the recording. It's also the live streaming. It's not going to change. There it is. Perfect. That's it for the recording. And thank you, Joe. Thank you so much, everyone, and Joe for providing so much. And now we're going to go and try everything out, right, everybody?
Absolutely.
Try it out. Don't leave it as a webinar. If you don't try it, then it's not going to be worth much. And of course, you'll get your certificate if you've been here for at least an hour, since this was an hour and a half plus.
It was indeed. And just to be very clear as well, I've sort of said this already, but I am available for bookings as well. If you'd like a webinar from me for your school, district, association, just let me know. Because obviously I've done this for free, but this is how I make a living. So if you're interested in me giving a presentation, a bespoke version of this or something similar with AI, do get in contact. You've got my contact details. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time in July at our next webinar. Thank you.